can't wait for inspiration. You have to work, and sometimes you work when you don't feel inspired. Art is such a human expression. I think it's part of what makes us who we are. And it's also kind of a mystery in terms of our hierarchy of needs. We've had it throughout the earliest times of our recorded history, but we don't need it in the same way that we need air and food and water. But it appears not long after those things are taken care of. And so that's always fascinated me, the fact that it's apparently important, but you can't actually say why. I really started enjoying art quite a bit in high school. I had a really supportive high school art teacher. I got my undergraduate degree in art. I actually earned an undergraduate degree in painting first, and it wasn't until I think it was my senior year in college that I really began to work more in clay, and something just clicked for me. I kind of felt a new freedom with clay. I think when I was painting, I felt like I was trying to maybe copy a reality, where when I was working with clay, I don't know if it's because clay is so formless when it starts out, it can be anything, that material really just spoke to me. Enough so that I spent an extra year in college just purely studying clay, and then I decided to go to graduate school for ceramics and to learn more about teaching. I'm really lucky to have a job that does relate to my creative practice in some way, so that's really motivating. Sometimes a student will ask me a question about a very specific artwork or time period that I'm not, automatically super well versed in, so I'll have to dig a little bit deeper and think about something that I might not necessarily have thought about on my own or investigated a little deeper on my own. And sometimes those things make their way into my artwork just because they're another thing that I'm thinking about. So it is really nice to have a job that relates to creativity and that encourages other people around me to be creative. And then in terms of balancing that with family life, I'm also really lucky to be married to someone who's an educator and a professional musician. So we both understand that there are times when we are inspired to work, or we're working on a creative project and we need to leave each other alone. I'm having a studio day, whether I say it or he says it, means I'm gonna disappear for maybe 8 hours straight and you will not see me, and that'll be okay. I think there are a lot of people making things in the White Mountains, and I wish more of them considered what they were making as artwork. I think there are a lot of people doing very traditional fine craft work, woodworking, quilting, things like that a lot of times maybe is so ingrained in their practice or their culture that they don't necessarily think of it as art with a capital A. It's funny, since getting together with Ryan, I really don't listen to much music. I've come to appreciate silence or whatever natural sounds are around me. And so I'll roll up the garage door and I'll usually have my 2 doors and my window open. And my favorite thing to listen to are the hummingbirds. It makes me feel like there are things going on all around me. So that's kind of something that I think of as the theme song of my studio, is those little hummingbird battles that are happening all around and typically behind me while I work.